Good evening, my dear friends. I welcome you to the next chapter, that is chapter 3 on money or the circulation of commodities of the Das Capital, Volume 1. In it, I am going to discuss just the first part, that is part 1, which discusses the measure of value. Let us begin with the concepts one by one. In this chapter, Marx discusses the measure of value, how it is expressed in money form, and how the price is being established. And he has very beautiful quotes to corroborate his theories. I know nothing of a man by knowing that his name is Jacob. Under the ideal measure of value, there lurks the hard cash. What do this mean? Let us begin the discussion of the money value, that is the ideal value of commodities, and the price of commodities by these two important quotes. The first quote is, I know nothing of a man by knowing that his name is Jacob. When the circulation of commodities began, when the commodities moved out of the societies or the communities in which they were produced, it began to find the imaginary value, that is, certain amount of labor time is involved in producing a commodity. So there would be an imaginary value ascribed to it. For example, for getting one truckload of corn, a certain amount of socially desirable labor was necessary. For that, we ascribe a value, and that value comes from our mind, that is, from the imagination. This is called ideal value. This is the imaginary value. We have certain thing in our mind that one truckload of corn would be costing around, for say, around 50,000 rupees. Therefore, we are giving it an imaginary value, and we are ascribing this value to this truckload of corn. But what happens is that there is a common denomination or a common measure of value, which is the equivalent of the socially desirable labor time involved in producing a truckload of corn. And this amount of labor time, which is expressed in hours, for example, say around 20 to 25 hours were required to gather this or to reap this truckload of corn, and working back in producing, in cultivating this paddy or this cultivating this crop, and various other measures of labor time were involved in cultivating this corn or paddy, a truckload of paddy. And when a truckload of paddy is ready, so much of labor time, that is, we may say 15 hours of around, say, 20 to 25 people were involved in this work. Therefore, we have certain imagination that the amount paid or the hours of work, we get some imaginary value that is called ideal value. And this truckload of corn is chasing a common denomination or the equivalent value. In its chase of equivalent value, it strikes upon the money form of value. This ideal imagination money value is chasing a common denomination or the equivalent, and that is the metallic money for you. Marx says that under the ideal measure of value, there lurks the hard cash. Friends, here we come upon a bifurcation or distinction between the value and the price. Marx says that there are certain things for which there is a price although no value. For example, the things which are given out of the fiduciary capacity, that is household works, it has got a price but no value, because the price of household activities is entrusted to a servant, if for example say, but this has no value because this could have been performed by ourselves. So value and price are different. The things of imagination, that is honor, for example honor, it has a price but no value. There was no socially required labor time involved in producing one honor. Therefore, what happens is that though this has got price but no value, now come to the discussion. Under the ideal measures of value, there lurks the hard cash. What is this money? We call the pound as the currency of UK. And what is this pound? This is actually the weight of gold. And historically it has been established that the weight of gold would form as the equivalent denomination of money. Therefore, a truckload of corn would be exchanged for so much amounts of money, that is so much pounds. For example, say 100 pounds. So what is this 100 pounds actually? This is the 100 pounds weight of gold. Marx says that in the earlier years, in the long back ago years, actually silver was having this 1 pound as its measure of weight. Later on, when it was found that the gold was replacing silver as the equivalent measurement, therefore it was the silver was measured by 1/15 pound of a gold. So the ratio of weights between silver and gold are 15:1. That is, 15 quantities of units of silver would form 1 unit of gold. Later on, what happened is that exactly these pound weights cannot be maintained, because everything every commodity got its price increased, and this weight of gold remained as stagnant. The pound remained as stagnant, and division of it into pounds, ounces remained stagnant. However, the price of commodities increased, the value of gold increased. However, the weights remained stagnant. The weights were given the legal sanction by the society, and therefore the weights became fixed. Therefore, 1 pound of gold used to purchase around 10 units of iron earlier, or 10 grams of iron, for example. So this 100 grams of iron was used to be purchased with 1 pound of gold, suppose. In the former, long back ago, not now. When the value of gold increased, it is no longer possible to expend 1 pound of gold to purchase 100 grams of iron with 1 pound of gold. Therefore, what happened was that the pound weight or the price weight remained the same, but the price increased. The weight remained the same, the price increased. For example, 100 tons of iron, 100 grams of iron would cost 2 pounds later. The pound weight remained the same, which was established by law. However, the relative values changed. Therefore, the price, though increased, however, the unit of price remained fixed. This is what the Marx says by saying that though there are ideal values of commodities, that is, imaginary values ascribed to it, the prices are different. I conclude by saying this quote again: under the ideal measures of value, there lurks the hard cash. Thank you. Meet you again with the second part, which is metamorphosis of commodities. Take care. Bye.